Hello and welcome to the UPSC PT Special News on Map series. In this particular episode, we will try to cover those topics which have been in the news which are very burning actually, and they need to be covered with the help of maps. Let's begin with the first ever news, that was with respect to Iran's nuclear deal. Now we have to see that this particular topic has been most of the time in the news because of this area of Iran, because of the nuclear deal. Okay, so which of the following will not be closely related to Iran? Let us first of all have a look at the options. Persian Gulf, Bab el Mandeb, Caspian Sea, Gulf of Hormuz. Let's see the map first. So Iran is a country in basically the West Seas in Middle East, and it is a country that is very close to the Middle East, of course. But you see, it has a border with Turkmenistan, Azerbaijan, Armenia, then we have Iraq, Turkey, and of course, if we talk about the maritime border, it shares a maritime border with Kuwait and also Saudi Arabia. Then we have Qatar as well, and Pakistan, Afghanistan, so many countries are there. So you see, with respect to land boundaries, we also have the boundaries with the sea. Caspian Sea is in the, you can see, northern eastern region of Iran. Then we have Persian Gulf in the southwestern region of Iran. So Caspian Sea and Persian Gulf, they have a border with Iran. That is why we are cutting those off. Why? Because we have to select which is not related to Iran. Okay, Bab el Mandeb and Gulf of Hormuz. Let's see that. Now this is Strait of Hormuz, okay, which lies between the UAE and Iran. Of course, now this is related to Iran. But Bab el Mandeb is here between Djibouti of Africa and Yemen of the Arabian Peninsula. So this has no relations with Iran. That is why we are cutting this option, the option of Strait of Hormuz, away. Why? Because the correct answer would be, this is not Gulf, okay, this is Strait. You can say Gulf as well, but Strait of Hormuz would be better. Okay, so Bab el Mandeb is the correct answer over here. Let's move on to our next question, which is, let's see, we have to match the region or the islands with the country they belong to. Death Island, Myanmar. Coco Island, Myanmar. Then Jaffna, Sri Lanka, and Sandweep, India. So let's see, Cocoa Island or Coco's Island. Okay, don't get confused between that. So basically, here we are talking about Coco Island. Okay, so Coco Island is actually very famous with respect to when the Portuguese took hold of Coco Island. They named it because it was the land of coconuts. Okay, now you see, this is Sri Lanka, and we have the Delft Island here and Jaffna here. So in the question, it was said that Delft belongs to Myanmar, which is not correct. Okay, Coco, let's see Coco. And before we see Coco, we have already seen that Jaffna belongs to Sri Lanka. That is correct. Now, moving on, let's talk about Coco Island. This is Coco Island and it belongs to Myanmar. Okay, one very interesting fact. It was said that in 1994, the lease of Coco Island was given by Myanmar to China. But that has not been, officially said by either of them. Very interesting from the perspective of international relation, but it belongs to Myanmar. Okay, so Coco belongs to Myanmar. This is correct. Jaffna is Sri Lanka, and Sandweep doesn't belong to India. Basically, it belongs to, this is the island of Sandweep, which belongs to Bangladesh. Okay, so the correct answer would be, of course, let's see, 2 is correct, 3 is correct. Only 2 and 3 are correct. So the correct answer would be 2 and 3 only. That is option B. All right, let's move forward. Talking about our next set of questions. Now this question, okay, before we begin with our next question, just have a look on the important regions in South China Sea, because South China Sea has been a very hot topic. Why? Because of the aggression of China. So Paracel, Spratly, and Scarborough Shoal, basically, they lie in the South China Sea. And 9-line map is related to South China Sea. So if it is asked in your prelims examination, 9-line belongs to South China Sea. This is a map with the help of which China claims its region in South China Sea. And it says that it was an erstwhile part of China. Now that is absurd right now. Moving on, you see that Senkaku Island are also here in the East China Sea. Remember, South China Sea is different. Senkaku Island is in the East China Sea. Okay, so be very careful with respect to north to south or south to north arrangement of islands with respect to East and South China Sea. Moving on to the next question, we have to match the relief to the location they belong to. A sea range, Southwest Arabian Peninsula, Hadramaut region, South Arabian Peninsula, Zagros Plateau, that belongs to Northwest Africa. Let's see if they are correct or not. First is, of course, a sea range that belongs to Saudi Arabia. Okay, and it is in, of course, Southwest Arabian Peninsula. This is correct. Then Hadramaut is actually in Yemen, and it is in southern region of Arabian Peninsula. So second is also correct. Okay, this is correct. Zagros Plateau belongs to not Northwest Africa. Why? Because Zagros belongs to Iran. You can say that central western Iran. Okay, so this is not correct. Only the first and second are correct. A is the correct answer over here. Okay, let's move forward talking about the next set of questions. Now we have to match the areas that have been in the news with the region they belong to. Tigray, South Africa, Sikasso, West Africa, Elemi Triangle, East Central Africa, and Badme, Northeast Eurasia. Okay, so let's see, Tigray region has been in the news for quite a while, and it is the northernmost region of Ethiopia. Tigray region has been a lot in the news because of the conflict in Ethiopia. So yes, the first pair is correct. It also has a border with Eritrea. Okay, so first was Tigray region. Now Eritrea and of course Ethiopia, they belong to northeastern Africa and not South Africa. So first pair is incorrect. Then we have Sikasso. Sikasso is actually in Mali. Okay, so Sikasso is correct. All right. So first, yes, West Africa is correct. Mali is in West Africa. Then Elemi Triangle, East Central Africa. Let's see, Elemi is between Sudan and Kenya. So you can see Sudan and Kenya has a huge, triangle with respect to Elemi. Okay, and that is why you see that Elemi Triangle belongs to East Central Africa. The Sudan and Kenya region is in the Central East. Okay, then comes Badme. Badme is Northeast Africa. Okay, so if we see Badme, it does belong to Eritrea, a border of Ethiopia and Eritrea at the border of that. So this is correct. It's in Northeast Africa. So only second, third and fourth are correct. Tigray belongs to Northeast Africa. So 2, 3 and 4, that is option B. Option B is the correct answer over here. Okay. Moving on to the next set of questions. The question is, we have to again match the popular places with the water body. So Hong Kong, South China Sea, Java, Sulu Sea, Shanghai, East China Sea. Let's see which of these are correct. Hong Kong has been in the news because of China's aspiration that they want to become, Hong Kong should become a part of China as soon as possible. So with respect to that only, we are going to deal with this question. Hong Kong, yes, it is a region in South China Sea. This is the island of Hong Kong. So first statement or first pair, not the statement, is correct. Second, Java. Java actually lies in the Java Sea and not Sulu Sea. Sulu Sea is related to Philippines. Okay. So second pair is not correct. Then comes, this is not correct. Then comes Shanghai. Shanghai, let's see, where is Shanghai? East China Sea. Yes, Shanghai is in the East China Sea. This is Shanghai, the capital of China. So only first and third are correct. The correct answer would be option C. Moving on to the next set of questions. Now, the term Halib Triangle, which is often seen in the news, is related to which of the following? Let's see, where is Halib Triangle? Halib Triangle is in actually Egypt, okay? And it has a border with Red Sea. This is Red Sea. This is Gulf of Aqaba. This is Bab el Mandeb, okay? So remember like that. Yes, it is in Northeast Africa. So let's see, where is answer? Here is the answer. All right, next question. is with respect to which of the following capital of the BRICS country is different from the rest. So China has time and again uttered things such as, we must engage more friends other than our own countries. That means a concept of BRICS plus. So that is why this question is important. Delhi, Moscow, Cape Town, Brasilia. These are the capitals of. Delhi is the capital of course, India. Then Moscow, Russia, Brasilia, Brazil, and Cape Town, South Africa. So let's see what is the similarity or dissimilarity. You see, Moscow is the capital of Russia and it is not having any coast. Then comes Brasilia. Brasilia also is not at the coast. Brasilia is capital not at the coast. Then we have Cape Town of South Africa. That is at the coast of South Africa. It has a coast with the coastline. That is why it is different. And then New Delhi you can see over here as a union territory. So which of the following countries is different from the other? If you have to talk about the odd one out, the Cape Town, option C is the correct answer. Moving on to the next question. It is with respect to UNESCO's Man and Biosphere Reserve program, which completed 50 years in 2021. And that is why events were organized. With respect to this, the question goes like, now I'm moving away from the screen so that you can read the question properly. The Biosphere Reserve is spread over 3 states of South India. This Biosphere Reserve that we are referring to. Due to high average annual rainfall, the variation in altitude, it ranges from tropical evergreen forest to tropical deciduous and shola mountain forest. Due to its forest cover, it is the protected area, is an important habitat for lion-tailed monkeys or macaques and tigers. Wayanad Wildlife Sanctuary, Nagarhole, Bandipur, Muddumalai Tiger Reserve and Silent Valley National Park are a part of it. Which biosphere reserve is this? I hope because of so many statements, you definitely know which one is the correct answer without the option. Because this is a biosphere reserve, first of all, in 3 states. I hope you know we are talking about the first ever biosphere reserve in India, declared in 2000. Yes, we are talking about Nilgiris over here. Okay, Nilgiri Biosphere Reserve. Here we have Nilgiris. You see, in the state of Karnataka, Kerala and Tamil Nadu, this biosphere reserve has its span, and it was included as a biosphere in the Man and Biosphere program in the year 2000. The earliest one, the first one. The latest one is Panna Biosphere Reserve. So remember that. Okay. So this makes our answer very easy. It's Nilgiri Biosphere Reserve. Moving on to the next set of questions. We have to match the river and which water body it drains into. Sir River, Aral Sea, Volga, Caspian, Tigris, Persian Gulf, Ural, Black Sea. Let's see which are correctly matched. This is the, first of all, we have to see the Sir River, which is here, Sir Darya, and it flows into the Aral Sea, okay, which is a landlocked water body. Then comes Ural. Ural flows into Caspian, right? Then we have Volga as well. Volga also falls into Caspian. Okay, so Volga and Ural both Caspian. Volga, Caspian, this is correct. Ural doesn't flow into Black Sea, so we have to manage the fourth pair to be incorrect. Whichever option has 4, we have to eliminate it. And all of the above also has 4, so we have to eliminate this. We are left with Tigris, although by elimination we know the first option is correct. Sir, Volga and Tigris. Tigris, let's see where it goes. Okay, this is Tigris, and along with Euphrates, it flows into Persian Gulf. Okay, so this makes our answer A to be the correct answer. Okay, moving forward to the next question. Let's talk about the next question. We have to see which one of the following is not related to Gulf of Thailand. I'm not reading the news because you can read first of all. Secondly, if I'm going to read the news every time, you won't be making any sort of your effort. Why was this place in the news? Okay, so Cambodia, Vietnam, Myanmar, all of the above have a border with the Gulf of Thailand. For this, we have to of course see where Gulf of Thailand is. Here is Gulf of Thailand. Okay, and it has a border with, of course, the country after which it is named, Thailand, Cambodia. Okay, and this is Vietnam, has a long coastline here and till here. So Gulf of Thailand has a border with Thailand, Cambodia and Vietnam. Okay, and which country is not related to it? Although Myanmar also has a long coastline with Andaman Sea. Okay, and not Gulf of Thailand. So Myanmar is our correct answer. Other important things we have to see is the Isthmus of Kra, which is over here. Okay, this is like we have Isthmus of Panama, a small piece of land connecting two land masses, huge land masses. So this is Isthmus of Kra. If it is asked in your question in prelims ever, you will answer this question. Okay, so Myanmar is the correct answer, is because we had to choose not related to the Gulf of Thailand. Okay, moving on to the next question. Now, the next question is with respect to undersea volcano eruption, which was highly in the news in Tonga. And it was even, the explosion was so high that it was felt in mainland USA as well. Let's begin with our question. Due to plate tectonics, earthquakes occur frequently in this oceanic region. That is mainly in the southern part. The main causes are volcanic eruption in the peripheral region and intra-oceanic volcanic eruption. High frequency tsunamis also occur due to these regions. This region is home to thousands of islands and many several island arcs, and as a result of tectonics, the world's deepest trenches are present over here. So which water body we are talking about? Pacific, Indian, Atlantic, Southern Ocean. Huge amount of trenches. Because of convergent boundaries, this particular belt has been formed. And subduction, because of subduction, we see volcanic activities are a lot. So we are talking about the Pacific Ocean, and this is the ring of fire in the Pacific Ocean, also known as circum-Pacific belt. And because of subduction, when the heavy plates, they move beneath the lighter plates, what happens? The rocks melt and become magma and give rise to volcanic activities. You will be extremely fascinated to know that 90% of the earthquakes and 75% of the volcanic activities are taking place in this particular region. Moving across, many important plates such as Juan, the Fuca plate, Coco plate, Nazca plate, so many plates are situated here. And you can see that these many trenches are formed in this region because of the very nature of subduction in this region. We have Bougainvillea Trench, Mariana Trench, Philippine, Ryuko, Izubonin Trench, Japan Trench, Kurile Trench, and Middle American Trench, Peru-Chile Trench. So this is all a part of circum-Pacific belt. Even Java Trench is a part of it. And here, because of the presence of Tonga Trench, because of that, Tonga Islands see a lot of eruption. So the correct answer would be, of course, Pacific Ocean over here. Okay, let's move on and talk about our next question. Now, with respect to US Embassy in Iraq's capital Baghdad, this question has been asked because it was attacked recently. So which of the following countries share or shares a border with the Saudi Arabia, the country of Saudi Arabia and Persian Gulf both? Okay, Iraq, Iran, Kuwait and Jordan. So let's see, Iraq, Iran, Kuwait and Jordan. Iraq has a border with Persian Gulf and also Saudi Arabia. So this becomes our first answer to be the correct answer. Okay, I hope I was talking about Iraq. Okay, Iraq is correct. Then we have Iran, Kuwait and Jordan. Kuwait is here, okay, and it has a border. I hope you see Kuwait here. It has a border with Saudi Arabia and of course with Persian Gulf. So this is also one of our correct answers. So Iraq and Kuwait. Then comes Jordan and Iran. Jordan is not sharing a border with Persian Gulf because it is landlocked and it has a border with Saudi Arabia only here over here. And of course that makes that this answer is not there because it's first of all landlocked, and even if it wasn't landlocked, it would have been coinciding with the Red Sea. Okay, so Jordan is not our answer. Iran has a border with Persian Gulf, but not, it has a maritime border with Saudi Arabia, but not a land border. Okay, so Iran is not the correct answer here. So the correct answer will be only 1 and 3, that is option B. Okay, let's move forward talking about the next set of questions. We have to consider the following pairs. We have to match the country to the region it is famous for. Somaliland country, Horn of Africa. Kosovo is a region in Western Europe, and Abkhazia is Asia-Europe transition zone. Let's see them. Somalia is yes. If we see Somalia here, it is in a part of Horn of Africa. Horn of Africa are a group of 4 countries, and that includes Djibouti, Somalia, and Eritrea plus Ethiopia. So these countries are culturally, historically, because they are interrelated, that is why they are a huge part of Horn of Africa. And Somaliland, you see, is a part of Horn of Africa in Somalia. So first is correct. Kosovo is not in Western Europe, but Southeastern Europe. Okay, Kosovo is here, Republic of Kosovo. Many countries such as Russia and Venezuela, they recognize the country Kosovo, but many don't. So Kosovo, Republic of Kosovo, it is also known as, and it is, as you can see, it is a landlocked country in Southeastern Europe. So Southeastern Europe is the correct answer, not Western Europe. Second is incorrect. Let's talk about Abkhazia. Abkhazia is a transition zone, right? Abkhazia is over here, and it was earlier considered a part of Georgia. Many countries still consider it as a part of Georgia, but Russia says that it is, of course, an independent or autonomous region. And yes, Ossetia and Abkhazia are certain regions which are autonomous in nature. They are independent. They are working independently. Okay, so yes, it is a part of the transition zone. The correct answer will be 1 and 3 only. Okay, not the second one. Option C is correct over here. Moving on to the next question, which is with respect to the news. And Kaval Tiger Reserve has been in the news lately. So we have to match the tiger reserve in the relief they are found in. Kaval, Deccan Plateau, Sariska, Chota Nagpur Plateau, and Palamu in Aravalli range. Let's see if they are correct. First is, of course, Kaval. If you talk about, then Kaval is in Telangana, the tiger reserve, a part of Deccan Plateau. So first is correct. Then I think we were talking about Palamu, which is a part of Chota Nagpur Plateau. Palamu is in Jharkhand. Okay. And Sariska is a part of Aravallis, which is in Rajasthan. So the last 2 options, these 2 pairs have been interchanged. Okay. Sariska should be a part of Aravalli and Palamu, Chota Nagpur, while Kaval is correct. Only the first is correct. So B is the correct answer here. 1 only. Okay. Now, let's move on to the next question, which is with respect to the statements. The prime meridian and equator, they intersect or meet each other in the continent of Africa. Just as all latitudes have the same length, so are all longitudes of the same length. And unlike the international timeline or the dateline, this is not timeline, this is basically dateline. Okay, dateline. The prime meridian has not been diverted anywhere. Unlike, okay, because we know international dateline has been deviating because of the convenience in timekeeping. So let's see the correct answer. Now, prime meridian and the equator, they do not intersect in the continent of Africa, but near the continent of Africa, basically in the Atlantic. So this question is not at all, this statement is not at all correct. Okay, so this is wrong. Just as all latitudes have the same length. Latitudes have the same length? No, they do not. Longitudes are of the same length, but latitudes, because Earth's shape as in what? A spheroid. That is the reason that the length is shorter at the poles and largest at the equator. And as we move towards the pole, east, southward or northward, what will happen? The length keeps on decreasing. So what happens? Longitude are same length because they are semicircle in nature. Eastern and western hemisphere are of the same size. That is why they are of the same length, but latitudes are not of the same length. So first and second, both are not correct. Okay, first and second, both are not correct. Third one is only the correct answer, because as I told you that first of all, you see international dateline is deviating so that it does not cover many land masses, but a water body. So this was the only place that had not a lot of landmass, but mostly water body. So that is why, to compensate for the time loss or gain, this dateline deviates. And you see that a prime meridian is not at all, deviating. So only the third is going to be the correct answer here. All right, moving on to the next set of questions. These days, war is already happening. So that was This is because belonging to a previous episode. That is why these days there is a war-like situation. So war is already going on. Let's talk about Ukraine. We have to consider the following statements. The Azov Sea is in the southeast of Ukraine, which also forms Ukraine's border with Russia. And Dnieper and Dniester rivers pass through Ukraine and both end in the Black Sea. And the Danube River does not belong to Ukraine. So now let's see the map first. Now this is the Sea of Azov. And yes, as you can see, it has a border with Ukraine. And what was the question? That southeast of Ukraine, which is correct. It is in the southeast of Ukraine, like this. This is south and this is east. Almost all the region of the south is covered, but southeastern is correct. So Sea of Azov, yes. And then Dniester, this is the Dniester River and the Dnieper River. D seldom is silent, okay? Dnieper River. So you see that it flows into the Black Sea. So that makes the first and the second statement to be correct. And they do pass through Ukraine, both these rivers. Danube actually does not belong to Ukraine. You see how? This is Danube River, okay? And here is our Ukraine. But Ukraine is not seeing the passing of Danube. Danube also goes into the Black Sea. So only the first and the second are correct. The correct answer is option A. Alright, let's move forward. Talking about our next question. The oceanic area is part of the Northwest Pacific Ocean. A closer look at this region reveals that it would have been a landlocked sea. Okay, and except for some parts of it because it is open. However, it is through this narrow passage that the Tsushima hot current, which is a branch of the Kuroshio hot current, originates. Okay, and maritime region has been the center of geopolitics for a long period of time. Sea of Japan, Sea of Okhotsk, Yellow Sea and East China Sea are our option. So let's see. Yes, you see this is the Sea of Japan. Okay, and this is the island of Honshu. This is Hokkaido. Okay, and here comes Sea of Okhotsk. But Sea of Japan is a part of the Pacific Ocean. It is not landlocked. And you see Tsushima current, which is a branch of Kuroshio current, is passing through it and then gets divided over here, the northern island of Honshu. So Sea of Japan is our correct answer. Okay, and Sea of Japan has been contended a lot by China as well. Let's see. Next question. Now we have to match the dam project with the river on which they are built. Mekedatu Vaigai, Gandhi Sagar Chambal, Tipaimukh Barak. Let's see which ones are correct and which ones are not. So yes, Mekedatu has been in the news a lot of times. So the correct answer would be Kaveri River and not Vaigai. Then comes Gandhi Sagar Dam, which is on the Chambal River. This is correct. And then comes Tipai Mukh Dam, which is planned to be built on the Barak River. Okay. So Tipai Mukh on Barak and then Gandhi Sagar on Chambal and Mekedatu not on Vaigai but Kaveri. Only the second and third are correct. So the correct answer would be 2 and 3. That is option B. Alright, let's move on to our next set of questions. The next question is, the capital of which of the following countries is located on the sea coast? UAE, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, Oman, Kuwait. The Middle Eastern countries tend to have this particular trend that if they have limited resources, what will they do? They will try to make their capital and port city congruent, but they are not having any limited sources. They have unlimited sources because they are a huge reservoir of oil. But because they want to develop it further, what do they do? They tend to make the port city co-terminus with their capital. So whichever country have a huge water body adjacent to it, you will see that their capital will be on the coast. Okay, UAE, Qatar, Saudi Arabia. Let's see UAE's capital. UAE's capital is Abu Dhabi. Okay, and it is at the coast. Oman's is Muscat at the coast. Again, you see Yemen's capital is not in the coast, it's in Sanaa. But I think Yemen wasn't in the question. Saudi Arabia's capital is not at the coast, it's at Riyadh. Kuwait city of Kuwait is at the coast. Then Doha of Qatar at the coast. So you see, almost all the countries in the Middle East or the West Asia are having their capitals at coast, except for Saudi Arabia and Yemen, right? So let's see, Saudi Arabia should be taken out. UAE, Qatar, Oman and Kuwait have their capitals at the coast. So except 3, all of them have a coastal capital. Okay, let's move forward and talk about our next set of questions. We have to select and arrange the correct sequence of the river from South India from north to south. North to south. Okay, so let's see. The first one, Palar, Pennar, Vaigai. This is Vepur, sometimes known as Vaipar. Okay, Vaipar river. That is in Tamil Nadu. Again, Vaipar. Palar, Pennar, Vaipar, Vaigai, Vaipar, Vaigai, Palar, Pennar, Pennar, Palar, Vaigai, Vaipar. Okay, let's see. North to south, of course, we have to go. So, first of all, we have Pennar here. Then we have Palar. First Pennar, then Palar. Let's see. First Palar, then Pennar. Okay, then we have Vaigai here, and below Vaigai we have Vaipar river. Okay, it's not here on the map, but if you will see the map of Tamil Nadu, Vaipar river is lying lower than Vaigai. Okay, so the correct answer would be the first one only. Palar, Pennar, Vaigai, Vaipar. Alright, let's move on. Talking about our next set of questions. Which of the following group of countries represent West Africa? Okay, West Africa, if you have the idea of West Africa and East African countries, because there are so many countries in Africa and the continent of Africa, so we have to be careful about our pairs. So let's see. We will try to eliminate those countries which are in East Africa. Ethiopia is in East Africa, so this won't be the correct answer here. Kenya is in East Central, so also even if you know one of these countries not to be in West Africa, we will answer this question easily. Zambia, Botswana, Angola, Namibia, Sierra Leone, Liberia, Burkina Faso, Ghana and Togo. C is the correct answer. Let's see how. Ghana, Togo, then we also had many other countries. I think Burkina Faso was also there. Yes, Burkina Faso, Ghana, Togo, Liberia and Sierra Leone. So this is going to be our correct answer. Liberia and Sierra Leone here, West Africa. Okay, this is straight out. I just knew that 3 to 4 were definitely belonging to West Africa. That is why I could answer this question. Okay, option C is going to be the correct answer here. Now, the next question that we have to see is with respect to a person has to go from Israel to Bahrain. Okay, and that has to be with the help of C. So, which one of the following options give the correct sequence of the water bodies that will come across the path? So, let's first of all try to see. This is Israel. Okay, and from here we have to travel by sea to reach Bahrain. Okay, here. So this is the correct path that the person has to go through. First of all, we will have to pass through, of course, the Gulf of Aqaba, which is in the southeastern end of Sinai Peninsula. Then comes Red Sea. Then comes Bab el Mandeb. This is Bab el Mandeb between Yemen and Djibouti. Then Gulf of Aden will be here. Then we will go to Gulf of Oman. Then Strait of Hormuz, then Persian Gulf. Okay, so these are the water bodies and the straits. So first Gulf of Aqaba, then Bab el Mandeb. Okay, Gulf of Aqaba and Bab el Mandeb. Then comes Gulf of Eden and then Gulf of Hormuz that I have already told you. Gulf of Aqaba, then comes Bab el Mandeb, Gulf of Eden and then Strait of Hormuz. Okay, or Gulf of Hormuz. So this is correct. The third option is correct over here. Moving on to the next set of questions, and the question is, if for any reason the road to the Bosphorus Strait or the passage to the Bosphorus Strait is blocked, then which two regions will the shipping route between which two regions will be blocked? Okay, so we have to see which of the two seas are in the region. Now this is the Bosphorus Strait and this is the Strait of Dardanelles. The Bosporus Strait and the Strait of Dardanelles under the Montreux Convention are in the control of the country Turkey. And when this was invoked, the region has been in the news because during the war, Turkey invoked the Montreux Convention. So, Sea of Marmara lies in the middle of the Aegean Sea and the Black Sea. Okay, and this Black Sea is connected to the Sea of Marmara with the help of Bosporus Strait, and the Sea of Marmara is connected to the Aegean Sea with the help of Dardanelles Strait. So this is something to be remembered. And Aegean Sea is an extension of Mediterranean Sea. So Black Sea and Mediterranean Sea are going to be one of our shortlisted and actually not shortlisted correct answer. So we have tried to bring you many topics which have been there in the news for the past couple of months in one episode. We will try to bring the next few more. Stay engaged and thank you so much for watching.